gun fire to the studio mics. Tune in weekly, we're dropping the spikes. Analyzing every punch, every kick that lands. Maniacs in the game, playing with fans' demands. Ken's got the insight, Joe's got the flair. Mapping out the fights will take you anywhere. So grab your popcorn, buckle up tight.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
What's up? Back again, MMAniacs podcast. I'm Joe, joined as always by Bare Knuckle Ken. What's up, buddy?
What up?
Man, so kind of a slow week in MMA, right? I mean, there's the news about Rampage's son beating the living shit out of that pro wrestler.
What do you think about it? Because I want to get what your perspective is here.
I don't know enough about the story. I mean, I saw what he did, and it was, to me,
what happened leading up to it.
No, I didn't. So that's why I don't feel qualified to make a judgment on the right or wrongness of his actions. But one thing that I will make a comment on is, bro, that guy was knocked out about 18 punches before he decided to stop. Like, he could have seriously killed the dude. And to me, I mean, that, bro, like, you know, we're grown men, and like, it's one thing to whoop somebody's ass. Like, I'm not against fisticuffs, dude. Like, you know what I mean? But that was overkill.
Now, what about that nobody stepped in to stop it till the very end?
You find out who your friends are. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, because you see it in a lot of professional fights, when the guys knock the fuck out like that, the ref is, throwing himself in between there. Because, sometimes in the heat of the moment, you're not thinking clearly, and your brain's just crush, kill, destroy.
Yeah. That guy needs some new friends badly.
Oh,
like,
well,
in my opinion.
What it was leading up to it is the wrestler there, Psycho Stu, I think his name was, hit him with supposedly a worked beer can, which, if people that aren't in the wrestling know, means that it's a can that's designed to be safer to hit someone with.
Yeah, it's a gimmick.
Now, whether or not that it actually was, I don't personally know, because it was some small independent wrestling thing, so I don't know the ins and outs of their gimmick stuff. Well, and this was without saying anything to Jackson about it. He just pretty much hit him with it. It was okay. Now, you already got him pissed off and all that about it. Well, as Jackson was walking through the arena, one of the other wrestlers told him, "You better make sure you get your fucking receipts. Knock him the fuck out. If someone has to come out there, I will." And then they gave him a whole bunch of shit over it. You're taking somebody that's not a trained professional wrestler in any way, shape, or form, and you're putting them in this, especially when they're a trained fighter. To me, it's, what did you expect when you're egging the guy on like that? Granted, I do agree with there was overkill there, but by how many shots he just blasted into him. But I don't agree with nobody stepping in at first. Them all just standing there and kind of watching.
I mean, to me, this screams about a larger issue, a larger argument, which is, you got these trained fighters or teams of fighters, people who are not trained professional wrestlers doing spots in wrestling programs. It's just dangerous. Like, people are going to get hurt. And Rampage made a statement about it, saying that his son had suffered a concussion a few days earlier in sparring, and so that he shouldn't have even been doing anything physical like that. And one thing I will give Rampage credit for is that he made it explicit. Like, I don't condone my son's actions. Like,
don't take what I'm saying is I'm saying he was in the right or anything.
No,
I just don't know how wrong he was because of all the circumstances.
But I mean, even if you felt he's in the right, like that's your opinion. You're entitled to it, bro. I'm not going to tell you
Yeah,
that you're wrong.
I'm just stating my position here.
Yeah, we all have our our impressions about it, and for me, to me, that was just fucked up, dude. Like the dude, he broke his jaw. He's lost a lot of his teeth. He was choking on his teeth. Like when he was unconscious, he was choking on his teeth. Like, yeah. I personally, I think that Rampage's son, there's a chance that he could do some jail time over it. At least like there'll be some sort of criminal charge. I maybe he won't do jail time, but like some community service. They'll slap him on the wrist, that kind of thing.
Now, do you think that he will, even though it's the promotion that put him up to doing it in the first place? Granted, they didn't think he was going to go as far as he did. Let me make that clear. They expected him to slam him and maybe hit him one time. But doesn't the promotion bear some of the blame for putting a trained fighter in there that's not a trained wrestler and having him do this?
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm Psycho Stu, I'm suing that promotion for everything they have, because that's they literally set him up to fail, dude. Like the fact that they knew about it and he didn't, like, and they allowed. I mean, there is no defense that's going to be able to get them off the liability hook, dude. Like, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think to go to further that point is they used to be one of the independent wrestling promotions that worked under the WWE. The WWE has now severed their ties with them.
That's interesting, but if the event occurred while they were still under that WWE umbrella, now I'm no lawyer, I'm no tort lawyer or civil attorney, but it would seem that the UFC, the WWE could bear some liability if they owned that promotion, or if that promotion was under their general umbrella. Even if not, I think it doesn't hurt to try. Like if you're Psycho Stu, like I think you definitely name WWE as a defendant, and if not, but if the judge decides no, WWE is not liable, that's fine. But I mean, there's always the chance that, they were under their umbrella. That makes them liable. It's not, and I want to point out, like, I'm not a sue happy kind of person. I'm not like encouraging people to go and file frivolous lawsuits. In this case, I feel a lawsuit is warranted, though. Like, this dude could have killed him. Number one. Number two, like he did real damage to the guy. Like if this was a criminal matter, like the damage that he did to the guy, it could be considered great bodily injury. That's a felony, a serious felony charge. That's a strike. In California, we have the 3 strikes law. That's a strikeable offense, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Assault with great bodily injury is a strikeable offense, dude. And a broken jaw and knocking a bunch of his teeth out and continuing to pound on him after he's already unconscious, it absolutely presents a real and a real danger of death. Like, you don't know which punches after a guy is knocked out is going to kill him. Like, it only takes one. He's very lucky that the guy isn't brain dead or like going to be, eating crap the rest of his life. Like, I'm being serious, man. Like,
no. I get you. Now that brings me up to another point of a lot of people were floating around that maybe he's going to get attempted murder charges. And again, we're no lawyers here. We're no police officers. Do you think that would be warranted, or you think that's overkill?
I think it's up to the DA. If the DA feels it's warranted, then who am I to argue? But I know that DAs always tend to overcharge. What I could see realistically happening, see him being charged with attempted murder, but that like taking a plea deal for a lesser a lesser crime. Like, for example, I could see him getting charged with attempted murder, but then pleading guilty to assault with great bodily injury and getting a felony. And depending on the state that it took place in, it'll be what grade of felony, if there's mandatory prison time, those kind of things. But to me, regardless of the circumstances, just me. Like, I train martial arts. You have to have, if this guy is a trained fighter, he's a martial artist, right? As a martial artist, you have to have a certain level of discipline and restraint. Like, you have knowledge that could kill, and like, your body is trained to do that. Now, I'm not saying my body is trained to do that. I'm saying if this guy is a trained fighter, right? Like, you have not only the capability, but your body is trained to do that. The fact that he went as crazy as he did, that he went as far as he did, if he would have just hit him and knocked him out, and maybe gave him a one or two love taps after that, just like the icing on the cake, you know what I mean? Like the cherry on the sundae, okay. I don't think we'd be having this conversation. But the fact is, he looked like he was trying to beat the guy to death. And the thing is, he got tackled off of him. Like, he wasn't showing signs of stopping. Even like when the guy finally did come in and grab him and push him off, like, he was still engaged and he was still going to keep hitting the guy. So to me, that's why I think attempted murder charges could be filed, but I don't think he'll end up getting stuck with attempted murder.
Yeah, to me personally, I think this goes under the classification of adrenaline is a hell of a drug. That I don't think he even personally planned on hitting him anywhere near that many times. I don't think the guy had a plan going into it, other than I'm going to do something to get my receipt from him, to use the industry term.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally don't think that the attempted murder charge should be applied, because to me, attempted murder means you have to actually willingly try to kill this person. Like, put some cognitive thought to it. I don't think there was cognitive thought going on at that time. Now, again, I am absolutely no lawyer, so that doesn't mean my interpretation of it means fucking anything. I'm just saying how I interpret it. You got to have an actual cognitive thought process of wanting to kill the person. I think he just wanted to mess the guy up and didn't realize how bad he messed him up.
Okay, but going back to what I was saying before, as a trained fighter, you're held to a higher standard because your body is a weapon. And that, like, there's a reason that most professional fighters don't engage in street fights, because it's a lose-lose. Like, it's like, look, I'll put it like this, and I'm not, trying to sit here and brag or anything, because I'm a one-stripe white belt. I'm nobody, right? In the jiu-jitsu world, like, I'm nobody. I get my ass kicked by trained people all the time. But if I was to go up against an untrained person, I'm like about 80% sure that I'd fuck them up. Like, just even with the training that I have, like, I'm like 15 months in, right? Like, unless they got some attributes, like, unless they're like a D1 level wrestler or professional, or college football player, like somebody who's benching 350 and 400 pounds, like, if it's just your average guy on the street, like, I'm pretty sure he's going to get fucked up. And I know that. So my thing is, like, I have knowledge that can break bones, that can kill. Really, I know chokes that you hold him on long enough, the guy is going to die. So knowing that, there's a certain level of restraint that I have to exercise. Like, if I was to get into a street, which God forbid, I don't want to do that, but it's like, if I hurt the guy, I'm gonna get in trouble. Oh, yeah, it's mostly because of that broski guy, dude. Like, no, but I'm just messing with you, broski. Broski's on the morning show, and we love broski. But I mean, you have to exercise restraint if you have this knowledge, right? Because if I hurt the guy, I'm going to jail, and I'm not going to be able to go into court and be like they're going to be like, oh, but you train martial arts, you knew that you had the capability to hurt this person, and you chose to hurt them, even though you probably didn't have to. Like, you have to be. My point is, you have to be very, very careful with the level of force that you use, right? Like, I'll give you an example. In California, state law says that you can use equal force to overcome force, right? So if a guy punches you in the face, you're allowed to punch him back in the face. But if a guy pushes you and you in the face, you've exceeded the amount of force that you're allowed to use. Let's say that punch breaks his jaw. Now you could be held criminally liable. You could be charged for whatever damage you do to this guy because your amount of force exceeded the amount of force that was necessary to neutralize the threat or to protect yourself, to defend yourself, right? So here, let's apply this to this situation. I don't think there's any argument in the world that could be made that says that was not excessive force. Like,
yeah, even with him having a concussion and him getting hit in the head, the only thing that I could think to argue with it is that maybe it gave a little bit of swelling to the brain to where you know, maybe he wasn't in his right frame of mind. Now, I'm not saying this is what it is. I'm grasping at straws trying to come up for some type of defense.
Oh, and believe me, his lawyer too. Like, you're probably laying out the defense's game plan right now as we speak. Like, he had a concussion a few days before. The brain trauma had him not acting in his right mind. There was a chemical imbalance or whatever.
Yeah, and not only that, while he's already suffering from a concussion, he got hit in the head with an object that might have exacerbated it. Yeah.
I mean, you can run it up the flagpole and see if it flies. But honestly, dude, I don't see there's not some sort of criminal penalty, whether it's community service, whether it's small amount of jail time, all the way up to literally a prison term. Like, I could. And I think a prison term would be warranted in this situation. Am I saying he needs to go away for the rest of his life? No. Even, 10 years, a 10-year sentence seems pretty harsh, considering, like, the guy's, he's got a broken jaw, he's missing a bunch of his teeth, but it's not like he's in a wheelchair for the rest of his life or something like that. But a 2-year sentence sounds perfectly fair to me.
See, I was thinking a year. To me, this sounds like a county jail type of thing, not prison.
Well, not in California, buddy.
Yeah,
in California,
here in New York, we have a little bit more sense than that. Not much.
Well, this is California, bro.
Do not get me wrong here.
If Gavin Newsom wasn't so against the death penalty, he'd be strapping this dude in the electric chair. Like, I'm telling you, like, California hates violence, bro. Unless it's, liberals committing violent acts, then, it's sort of forgotten about. But, the politics and the defense laws in this state are crazy.
Now, what I'm going to bring up here is this wasn't just a regular average guy that he did this to. It was a trained professional wrestler who was also an ex-service member. I don't know what he did exactly in the service, but he's at least trained himself too. Now, how far does that factor in? And then for the second part of it is because of this happening in under a wrestling promotion, does that make it an actual chargeable offense still? Has anybody been charged in a wrestling ring before? I don't personally know. That's why I'm asking.
I believe New Jack did when he stabbed that dude. in ECW. He stabbed a guy, and I mean, he cut him.
I know what you're talking about. I didn't know if he got charged.
I think he did, but if not, he should have been, because he almost killed the guy.
Oh yeah, that one 1,000%. Yeah,
That's what we're talking about. So going back while you're looking that up, Ken, going back to what you said about the guy, Psycho Stu, being a trained military guy and being a trained professional wrestler, I don't think that really is going to matter. Yeah, I don't think that's going to matter, and here's why. Because Rampage's son did what we call lying in wait, right? Like Psycho Stu was completely oblivious to the fact that he was about to be assaulted. He didn't know that it was coming. And in California, if you premeditate an assault like that, you can actually get a special allegation of premeditation. It's called lying in wait. It's a special circumstance that adds time to your sentence. I don't know about where they are. Like I said, California's laws are California's laws.
Yeah.
But if he was in California, he would get at least, I think it's like at least a plus 5 year enhancement for lying in wait.
Ooh. Okay. And this is according to the AI overview, is that New Jack was charged with aggravated, if I can talk properly, assault against mass transit, but he was acquitted because the guy had requested the body bleeding that caused the excessive bleeding. Now this is where we're going to get tacky, because the promotion is the one that gave that Jackson the go ahead to do something. Now, how much of that takes away from what Jackson did because of him being untrained?
Look, nobody that watched that assault thought that it was a work. Like, nobody is looking at that and saying, like, oh, it was just a mistake. He went too far. It was part of the program.
That too far, I think, could play into it because of the mass transit thing too. Just like when people were watching that, they didn't think that was a work either because of how fucked up that guy got.
Yeah, but see, even if the promotion told him or gave him permission, if they had knowledge that he was going to do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that doesn't something and what actually happened there, that's a bit of a bridge too far in my opinion. Like, I think it, but again, I'm no lawyer. This is just my take on it. Where he went with it is, and the fact that Psycho Stu didn't know that it was coming, I think that if he tries to fight this, he's going to lose. If I was Rampage's son, I'm looking for the best plea deal I can get, and I'm going to take it, because I'm not going to court. I'm not going to trial on this, because once they bust out the video, there isn't a jury in the world that's going to acquit this guy. Like, I don't care if you say that he was on LSD or dude, whatever you can imagine, that his mind was not there at the time, right? Like, I don't care if you say this dude boned his wife. He found out that this dude was the real father of his kids. There's nothing that, in my opinion, that a jury is going to buy when they look at that tape. It was just absolutely just vicious, that attack. And Broski, I agree, dude. I think the organization is definitely going to be held liable. The bad news for Psycho Stu is that it's a regional promotion, so at the most they're worth a couple $1 million. So he's not really, I don't think he's going to see any real money unless he manages to get WWE as a defendant.
Okay, Broski, what had happened was that Psycho Stu there had hit him with supposedly a gimmicked can. Now, I don't know if it was actually gimmicked or not, because I don't pay attention to that promotion, but it was said that it was a gimmicked can. And He was antagonizing him before that. And then as Rampage's son was going through the arena there, one of the other professional wrestlers came to him and told him to make sure you get your fucking receipt for that, which, for the people that don't know the lingo, which means you better get some type of payback for it. And he was told, make sure that you fucking hit him, and if I gotta come out there, I will. And then once it got to that point, it was partially during the match there. He had did some type of move to one of the other wrestlers, and that's when Rampage's son came into the ring. The guy turned around, and that's when Rampage's son did what we seen Rampage do quite a few times and slam the guy into fucking oblivion, which to me, that would have been more than enough payback for it, because that knocked the guy out right there. With how hard his head hit, he was done. But then that's when he decided to hit him 20-something times.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. There's no way that you're gonna be able to get off on that one. Like as soon as that video gets played for the jury, you might as well handcuff yourself, bro, because that was not a receipt. That was a whole shopping spree. You know what I mean?
That's what people were saying. They were making the joke that it was a receipt, but a CVS receipt.
Yeah, that was bro. That was way out of there. But we'll see what happens. But it goes to a larger point, like I was saying before. Stop with having these MMA fighters coming into pro wrestling and trying to pull stunts. It's just dangerous.
To me, it begs the question again. This isn't me trying to take blame away from him, but how much of that was muscle memory?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can say it was like the whole thing was muscle memory, right? But the fact is, he knew what he was going to do before he got in the ring. Like, he knew, maybe he didn't know he was going to hit him 22 times, but he knew that he was going to sucker attack this dude, slam him, and beat him unconscious. Like, that was the plan. Nobody's going to convince me that wasn't the plan in his mind before he went into the ring. And the other guy didn't know that was coming. He thought it was a work, like, okay, he's going to slam me and that'll be his receipt, right? Like, the other guy had no idea. Psycho Stu had no idea that this dude is literally going to try to beat me to death in front of in a high school gymnasium.
If it would have ended after that slam, or even like you said, after one or two hits on the ground, I don't think anybody's talking about this other than, oh, wow, Rampage's son had some type of appearance and kicked this guy's ass.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's, holy shit, dude, are you going to prison?
Yeah, the level of brutality, dude, like, and the lack of restraint. And see, this is why I said, as a martial artist, you have to be able to exercise restraint, because you are in possession of knowledge and abilities that can literally are designed to severely injure or kill you. And in the laws, in the eyes of the law, they're going to look at it that way every time. Like, you can say, well, I didn't have the intention to do this. They're going to say, you may not have had the intention, but you had ability and you knew you had the capability. So you should have just walked away, And so I don't see him skating on this. I don't think Daddy's money is going to save him either. He can hire the best attorney he can get, but I think there's going to be some.
Now, do you think that there's, again, this is me grasping at straws, any type of defense, depending on the number of concussions this guy has suffered in his life, that since there is medical evidence that goes to show that multiple concussions lead to increased aggressive behavior, that could have played a factor, especially since he was under a current concussion and then getting a shot to the head on top of it?
Yeah, I think that could be a viable defense. However, what that defense lead to is, well, then obviously if this dude is so out of control, then he needs to be in a mental institution where he can be supervised, placed on medication, and like he's too dangerous for society. If that's the route you want to go, yeah, he could go spend 6 months to a year in a mental institution and play the.
I was going to say, honestly, I think that wouldn't be bad for him, because if you're hitting a guy like that, I can't say all your screws are tightened down.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he should be in a mental institution.
That's kind of my thing. Is I think that over prison, just because this guy doesn't seem like he's playing with a full deck for just the snapshot of what he did in this instance. Now, granted, if he has any prior shit in his life that shows an aggressive pattern, then throw all that out the window, and I can agree with the prison sentence.
Look, I'll take it from me, and I don't share this often because it's my past and it's not who I am anymore. But when I was a man, between the ages of 18 and about 23, I did a prison term for robbery. I robbed a drug dealer when I was 18 years old. And I went to state prison. I went to San Quentin 3 different times. I was on some of the hardest prison yards in the state of California. I literally, had cellmates that were murderers, and I'm not bragging about this. The reason I bring this up is because I don't think prison is going to be the best thing for him. Here's the thing. If he's already violent, prison, it's like, let's imagine that Rampage's son is a knife, right? He's a dangerous weapon. Prison is like a knife sharpener, whereas the mental institution is like a sheath. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather put him in the sheath than put him in the sharpener. Like, prison, especially, does not rehabilitate anyone. It is school for criminals.
I swear to God, as soon as you got done talking, I was going to say they don't call it Crime U for no reason.
Yeah, you go in and you're a violent person. You get there and you're forced to commit even more acts of violence on behalf of the gang that you're forced to join for survival. And you come out. It's yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying, Broski, and from a justice standpoint, yeah, he deserves a prison term, in my opinion. But a prison term is not going to rehabilitate him. It's going to make a dangerous person more dangerous. And so it depends on what is your goal with this situation. If your goal is to punish, then yeah, prison is the place to go. If your goal is to make a dangerous weapon less dangerous, then I think he needs to be on some sort of medication and he needs to be supervised. Like, he needs to know that, like, the slightest thing, some sort of probation, like a psychiatric probation, where it's like, hey, dude, if you start acting funny, we're going to put you in the funny farm. You know what I mean? Like, every time you start acting like you're not right, you're going back inside.
Oh yeah. And I can't speak for Joe here. When I say mental institution, I don't mean one of the nice, cushy. Well, okay, let me rephrase this. One of the ones set up with better amenities, because I don't think anybody would call a mental institution cushy. I'm talking about one of the mental institutions that is meant for more the criminally
insane.
Yeah.
So it's like a prison, but it's a psychiatric prison.
Yeah.
Like a Tascadero or Napa State Hospital, like one of those.
Yeah, somewhere that's a secured prison unit.
With razor wire fences and...
That's an actual mental institution, though. Because I think no matter what comes of it, this guy needs some kind of help, at least from this snapshot of his life.
Yeah, I agree. He definitely needs some kind of help. Whether or not he'll get it, I don't know. It's gonna take a merciful judge who's willing to look past the heinousness of what he did. There are judges out there, there are judges who are smart enough to see, like, prison is not going to help this guy. It's going to take a dangerous violent person and make him worse. It's going to make him an even more dangerous and violent criminal. Like, but there has to be some sort of repercussion. You know what I mean? Well, thank you. There has to be some sort of repercussion for it, right? Like justice demands that he pay some sort of price.
Mm-hmm.
I think a strong civil penalty, like, a judgment that.
Oh, absolutely bare minimum. He's got to be paying for all this guy's medical stuff. Bare,
I'm not
bare
even just
minimum,
talking about
like
medical
that.
stuff. I'm not talking about just medical stuff. I'm talking about like he needs a judgment so big that out of every dollar this guy makes going forward, like Psycho Stu is going to get a quarter of it. You know what I mean?
I'm okay with that.
For at least a specified period of time until the amount that is judged is paid. I think that's fair. Especially if he's not going to prison.
Yeah, he's got a broken jaw and got some teeth knocked out. Granted, that's still terrible, but it could have been way worse from what that was.
That's the immediate damage. We don't know the long-term damage because, look, especially with a trained fighter, right? You cannot hit a guy 22 times after he's already knocked out and not have some sort of. Do you think that did not contribute to CTE? Like, do you think that, like, I mean, bro, if Psycho Stu, he's a pro wrestler, right? He's already on that path to CTE. This is like, he was walking along that CTE path and somebody picked him up and hitchhiked him down the road a piece. You know what I mean? Like miles down the road. Like Psycho Stu is, I would almost guarantee he's going to have CTE at some point, dude. Like it's you cannot take that type of traumatic brain injury. And the thing is, it doesn't show up right away. I mean, look at Chris Benoit. He's the perfect example. All the concussions, all the diving headbutts, night after night after night, dude. So, and then one night, it's like it just took one incident for Eddie to die, and that pushed him over the edge, dude, and spiraled him into a depression that he couldn't get out of. And the next thing you know, he did some really heinous stuff. I think CTE is an argument for both guys, though. I think, that Psycho Stu is definitely going to have some sort of long-term damage from this. And I think that should be factored into whatever punishment and whatever restitution is ordered. But to your argument, I think that, the fact that he cussed at the time, he's a professional fighter. He's sparring, he's training. It's probably not his first concussion. Like, he's on the road to CTE as well.
That's kind of my point. Why I hold the wrestling promotion more responsible for it, because they're the ones that set all this up, knowing all these different things. Because if I remember correctly, that they knew he had a concussion too, and still went on with this plan.
Dude, you want to hear? I just had this really sinister thought.
Oh God.
Wouldn't it be hilarious? Like Psycho Stu, months down the road, he comes back from his injuries, right? And they're like, "Hey, so we were thinking, if you decide not to go forward with this lawsuit, we were thinking about putting the belt on you." You know what I mean?
I think he already had the belt.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
It was just a thought because, dude, realistically, do you think that they would do that? Like, hey, we'll put the belt on you, like you get to be the champ, and it just depends on how big of a mark Psycho Stu is, right? Like if he believes his own hype and he's like, dude, I get to be the champ, instead of like, hey, I could have millions of dollars for the damage that this company did to me, right? The damage that is untold, that we still don't know at this point what that damage is. Either way, I think we've.
Oh yeah, how are we gonna say that very well could have continued, because again, part of the blame I'm putting on the people that were just standing around watching it. That's when you're supposed to be stepping up and jumping in and getting the guy off of him, especially when it's one of your coworkers, the guys you travel with, all that.
The fact that that guy tackled him off, and that's the only reason he stopped, will not bode well for him. Like he didn't show any, like it's not like he looked down and was like, oh, okay, maybe that's enough. Like he was still engaged, still like ready to keep swinging, dude. Like that does not bode well for him. But let's talk about some MMA stuff that's, not criminal. So is there any news on the Zhang Weili versus Valentina fight yet?
Hold on, let me just answer this from Borowski. No, he didn't die from it. He's not in a coma. Any of those reports that came out, those were completely false. He's even posted stuff of him being conscious and all that. So the guy is, at least as of right now, functionally okay. You get what I mean by that. Not that he doesn't have any issues, just that he doesn't have anything that's threatening at the moment.
Immediately threatening.
Yeah.
But his brain is pudding, dude. Like bro, 10, 15 years from now, like when he has Parkinson's.
What I want to know is who the hell's the wrestling promoter that decided we're going to use Quentin Rampage Jackson's son to do this after what we seen Rampage do to a fucking door on Tough Enough. That family's not wired too tight.
Yeah. There's a lot of blame to go around. There's plenty of blame in this situation to go around. But has there been any news yet on Valentina and Zhang?
No, nothing official at all. Just a whole bunch of speculation of people, a lot of people and pundits saying that they want to see it, that it could be, fight of the year type of thing.
Yeah, but it's only going to be fight of the year if it happens soon. Like Valentina is already 37, Zhang is like 36. Like these women don't have much longer at the top of the game, dude. And if you're gonna one thing, look, I like Zhang a lot. I think she's a phenomenal fighter. I don't think she's a great champion, dude, because she only defends the title once a year, and it's been that way ever since she won the belt. She has one fight every 9 to 12 months, and that's not an active champion. Now, granted, her defenses are dominant, and so in that aspect, I guess she's a great champion, but she's just not a very active champion. And I don't know. I want to see this fight before it's like Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, right? Imagine that fight 3 years before it happened. It would have been the fight that we all wanted, right? But the politics got in the way.
Take a nap. I agree.
Well, it would have maybe. Floyd is, as much as I don't like Floyd's style, you have to give it to him. He was the greatest defensive fighter of his generation.
Absolutely, I won't take that from him. It's just that, to me, Floyd could have been a hell of a lot better. But like you had brought up, he had such issues with his hands breaking on him that you can kind of understand why. I just feel we got cheated out on one of the best fighters that could have been.
Yeah, and one of the best fights. Like that fight was 3 years past its prime. If that fight would have happened in 2012 instead of 2015, it would have been a phenomenal fight. Manny would have still had the speed, and he wouldn't have had the shoulder injury. Floyd would have been, forced to. I think Manny would have had the speed and the footwork to force Floyd to engage, and we would have got at least some semblance of the slugfest. But I think at the end of the day, I still probably pick Floyd in that fight, just because I think his defensive mastery, his ring generalship, I think he finds a way to pull it out. Now, granted, it wouldn't be the wide decision that we saw. I think it would be a very close decision. But there is always the possibility, because Floyd, people people kind of forget Floyd was rocked a couple times in his career. And, like Maidana rocked him and had him, Shane Mosley rocked him and had him almost out of there. But whenever Floyd got rocked, two things happened. One, Floyd was extremely smart. And as soon as he got rocked, he would grab and hold, and then he would, he managed to survive. And, you can't fault a guy for that. That's part of the sport, right? If you got to get him out of there. But the second thing that would happen is Kenny Bayless would automatically jump in and like, hey, Floyd, are you okay? Like, I don't even care if people call me a conspiracy theorist. This is beyond conspiracy. Like, this is fact. Kenny Bayless refereed a lot of Floyd's biggest fights, and he showed tremendous favoritism to Floyd in those fights. Anytime Floyd was even in the slightest bit of trouble, Kenny Bayless would find a reason to separate the fighters and give Floyd a second to clear the cobwebs out. It was ridiculous how on the payroll Kenny Bayless was. And the sad thing is Kenny Bayless was actually a really good referee in all the other fights except Floyd fights. Like, he was a very fair guy. Like, I had a lot of respect for him until I started seeing these Floyd fights, and I'm like,
amazing what'll happen once that check clears.
Yeah, and now we have a new guy. We have a new Kenny Bayless. His name is Harvey Dock in boxing, and he's
It's mostly MMA, but we do venture into boxing here and there.
And the only reason that we ventured into boxing is because we were talking about Zhang Weili versus Valentina Shevchenko. That we don't want to see it get the Floyd versus Pacquiao treatment, where the fight happens, but it happens 2 years too late, where neither are at the top of the sport anymore or at the top of their game. So, but we did get off on a tangent about boxing. But I mean, it's our show. We can do what we want, bro. Tune in or don't tune in. You know what I mean? No offense, but so yeah, I want to see the fight happen in the next 6 months. Like, that's what I want to see. While Valentina is still at, somewhat at the top of her game, while Zhang is at the top of her game, the only issue that it brings up is that they're not doing double champs anymore. So Zhang is going to have to give up the belt at 115 to chase the 125 title. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. Like, I think that opens up a lot of interesting possibilities at strawweight.
See, me personally, I wish they would allow a fighter to defend in 2 weight classes as long as they are active in both weight classes.
Yeah.
Now, granted, that's super rare, but to me, that's what makes the few people that can do it that much more special.
Well, you're not wrong, and Amanda did do it. Amanda Nunes, she did defend the 45 title and the 35 title. They did do that. But now they don't want people. It's not even about defending. It's like it puts 2 divisions on hold, basically, because you have to, alternate defending titles. So it puts 2 divisions on hold. That's why they don't want to do it. Also, I think it's kind of the double champ thing is kind of getting watered down. Like, we have 9 double champs now in UFC history. If you keep allowing it, eventually it's not going to be a special feat anymore. It's going to be something that, 45 people have done. And that's, like, I think having it be under 10 it makes it an elite accomplishment. Now, we'll get to that in just a second, T-Swizz, because I want to land this plane about Zhang and Valentina. I think Zhang going up to 25 is very, very good for business because it opens up interesting possibilities at strawweight. Namely, my girl Verna finally getting her title shot, which I believe she's earned. And I think Verna could go on a little run herself in that division if she was able to win the title. I would be very interested to see her fight Tatiana Suarez. That would be a great fight. And then Zhang, like, what happens if Zhang goes up and she doesn't win the belt? Like, now she's got to go back down to 25 and she's got to win the belt, or back down to 15 and win the belt again. Mm-hmm. So she would be the first 3-time champion. She's already a 2-time champion at strawweight. She would be the first ever 3-time champion in any weight class, male or female, I believe. So, there's legacy there. If she goes up and beats Valentina, I mean, that starts her reign. And I think Valentina, if she loses, I think she goes off into the sunset. She might do the rematch, but then I think she's done. There's not much more for her to do at that point. So T-Swizz, they need to make Topuria versus Makhachev. Yeah, they were trying. And Islam decided to go up to 170. I've been saying for months now that I felt that was sus. And we know how Ken feels because Ken is a Topuria fan club president. If you want in on the Topuria fan club, you got to call Ken. He'll send you your membership card for the low price of $99.95 per year.
Well, I was going to say on this show we got to run some type of fan club since Dustin Poirier's fan club's no longer active.
Oh, he did it. He went there. Oh, man. You know what? That's fine. I'll be the president of Dustin Poirier's fan club. I like the guy. He did everything right, He just couldn't get up. Unfortunately for Dustin, the story of his career, besides him being an absolute warrior, is that every time he fought for the belt, it just so happened that the champ was like one of the elite grapplers in the entire world, And that was his lot, dude. That was his thing. But Dustin, if you watch the show, I still love you, buddy. You're a champ in my eyes. It's beyond sus. Makachev's scared to death of Topuria. How do you call out Alex for a fight? But now you don't want to fight a 45er. Ooh, I'm not going to read that last part.
Yeah, I didn't see that last part before I posted that up.
Yeah. I mean, for your sake, T-Swizz, I hope you're black. Because then that makes it, okay. Yeah,
we're gonna say let's hope so.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that, but we have practices and standards like that. Standards and practices, people that will cancel us. And we've already rode that line with the copyright a couple times. But look, I really don't think that Makhachev is scared to death of Topuria. I think Makhachev is not scared of Topuria. Makhachev is scared of a loss, in my opinion.
I think Islam is scared of his fist. That power is absolutely devastating.
Okay, but Islam's been punched in the face plenty of times, dude. By hitters. Dustin Poirier can punch. I mean, he doesn't have Topuria power, but he can punch, right? And so I don't. To me, that's lazy. It's lazy thinking, or it's lazy commentary to say like Makhachev is scared of Topuria. These guys are professional fighters. They're warriors, bro. They're not afraid of any man on the planet. I think, just like John Jones, I think Makhachev is scared of taking a loss. He's scared of what it does to his legacy. Like go ahead.
That to me is like saying boxers weren't afraid of Mike Tyson's power. You have some of these guys that have so much power that you're stupid if you don't fear it.
Okay. I mean, fear it in the sense of like, I'm going to do what I can to avoid it.
Yes.
Like, absolutely. But fear it in the sense like, I'm so afraid I'm not going to fight you. There are plenty of heavyweights that, despite Mike Tyson's power and despite the fear of it, they still got in the ring with him because they thought, I'm just going to avoid that shot. And,
yeah. I'm not sitting here saying he's over in the corner shaking, fucking crying. I'm just saying that leaves a lot of extra worry on his plate.
Yeah. He would be a fool to not have it on his radar, right? To not have it in the back of his mind, like there's a real chance that this dude could knock me out ugly. You know what I mean? Like he could do me like he did Volkanovski, right? Like there's a real chance of that happening.
Or you mean like you did Oliveira, where his eyes are reading tilt afterwards?
I actually agree with you, T-Swizz. I think Topuria could actually be very competitive in boxing. Maybe at 140 or 147, let's say, like at welterweight. He's a little short. That's the only thing is like, But I mean, Tank Davis is short.
Yeah, I was going to say we've seen many boxers be short and
Yeah,
still.
Tank Davis is short, and he's got the same lights out power that Topuria has. And Topuria, we've said this on this show several times. Topuria's punch accuracy is elite in MMA. It's probably the best in MMA. I haven't really seen too many people that their punches are so crisp and tight and straight. Like, you know, he's definitely got a boxing background. Like he probably boxed. I would assume he boxed amateur at some point. He knows how to throw a punch, and he knows how to dot a chin. But I just don't. I said it. I think Islam. It's sus. Islam moving up to 170 at the time that he did. I think fighting Topuria would have been the perfect capstone on his 55 career if he was able to win. But I get why he did it, because now people will always have that what if, right? Like he didn't give people an answer to the question. Now it's like what are people talking about? They're talking about him going up to 70. Can he start his run at 70, right? But there's going to be people like us for the rest of his career, if he doesn't fight Topuria, who are going to say, yeah, Islam was great, but, like, you know, what about when he ran from 55 as soon as Topuria got into the division? Like, you know.
You mean like how John Jones ran and ended his career early?
I mean, early is a matter of opinion, but yeah, he definitely ducked Aspinall. There's no doubt about that, and for good reason. Like I said it. I think Aspinall could beat John Jones. I think he's the first guy that we've seen that actually has the tools that could do it. Like at heavyweight, one punch changes everything. But Aspinall isn't just a puncher. He can also wrestle. You know, and John is not going to bully him like he manages to do with other guys. You know, his elite traits are not going to be as elite at heavyweight. There's way too many contenders at welterweight for this double champ bullshit. They need to just make Makhachev versus Topuria fight. Honestly, I think Jack Della Maddalena beats Islam. I mean, if Jack Della Maddalena fights the way he fought against Bilal, I think he definitely has a good chance, because he'll be able to stymie Islam's wrestling. And Islam is moving up in weight. So, you know, Islam is going up. Let's say he doesn't have to cut that much weight to go up to 70. Like, let's say Islam walks around at 180 pounds. Like, I don't know if that's but I would guess if he was fighting at 55 for that long, his natural walking around weight is probably like 180, 185, right? Jack Della Maddalena, his normal walking around weight is probably at like 200 pounds. If he's cutting down to 170, he probably walks around about 200 pounds. So on fight night, he's going to be like 185, 190. So there will be a weight advantage. I don't know how big of a weight advantage, but there will be some weight advantage. And he's been training with Craig Jones in jiu-jitsu and in takedown defense. So I think that bodes well for him. Will we see Islam versus Topuria? I don't know. You know, like Topuria might have to chase him up to 70. And I don't know. Like, do you think Topuria can have success at 170? Because I think that's pushing it, man. Ken,
Yeah.
what do you think?
If he does it by packing on nothing but muscle and not just weight in general, maybe, because that might add more to his explosive power. But it's going to be a little bit of a task, even for Topuria.
But I do agree with your statement, T-Swizz, about there being lots of contenders at welterweight right now. You've got Shavkat, you've got Ian Machado Gary, you've got what's his name? The wrestler dude. He's an American. I can't remember his name right now. It's having a brain fart. But you know, you've got Bilal is still in there, JDM is still in there. You've got a lot of contenders. That division needs to get sorted out first. But unfortunately, we've hit that time. We don't want to go over. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll be back next week. Tune in. So Ken, you got anything to say before we go?
No, we'll see you next week, everybody.
Yo, it's game time.